Now I'd like to open the meeting to the sharing of testimonies of healing through Christian Science. Tom from Iowa, go ahead.
I'm grateful for the forum highlights that I've got in the mail, full of helpful instructions, practical instruction as to how to live Christian Science. I'm also grateful for practitioner help that I've gotten in this church. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet from Georgia, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for the many blessings my family and I have received over the years through the study of Christian Science. Working with a practitioner from this church, I'm learning the importance of uncovering false character traits. This has been a very humbling experience. What is being revealed to me is quite surprising. I'm learning that through persistence, patience, and love for God, some of these traits are falling away. I'm so grateful to God, to my loving and patient practitioner, and for this church, for the powerful readings we heard tonight, and for this healing service. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tom from New York, go ahead.
Hello, thank you very much. I want to just give my gratitude for healing that I wasn't really expecting. I had been exercising and it hurt my foot, and one of those things that you could go a couple days and everything was fine, and it would hurt. Kind of thought maybe I had broken something. It had been over for a long period of time, and I kind of ignored it because it would come and go, you know. And then one day I started praying, well, this is ridiculous. It keeps dragging on like this, you know. And it still dragged on. And then one day I came back and was hurting. I thought, well, what are you doing, you know? You're supposed to be grateful for what you already have, you know. So stop praying for this thing to be healed, and just thinking about all the things that you're very, very grateful for. That's what I did. And then it almost seems too typical of Christian Science, but frankly, I forgot about it. And it was about 3 days later, and I thought, oh, by the way, my foot is fine, you know? And I thought about that. I said, gee, you know, I didn't pray for healing. I just felt very, very grateful for a lot of good things. And, you know, 3 weeks went by, nothing. And then I'd organized a team of people at work to it's a corporate challenge where we go and run in Central Park next week. And so we've been going out each week and running Central Park. So like today, I went to Central Park and ran 4 miles. And see, I've totally forgotten about my foot hurting. So it wasn't until I came back and it was time for church, and then I thought about it. And I go, oh my gosh, that's right about my foot. And I didn't even think about it when I went out and ran in Central Park tonight. So anyway, that was a useful lesson for me. And just, you know, to be grateful, because we have received so much. And sometimes, like I'm saying, I didn't recognize, you know, all the good that I already have. So and I was very blessed by that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Linda from Pennsylvania, go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you very much for those timely readings and the beautiful music. I am grateful tonight for our lesson writers. The lessons have been a big part in helping me to learn how to make Christian Science practical in my life. I'm also grateful for my practitioner's support and for her directing my thought to these quotes from the lesson. And then this week, the citation she gave me read, quote, "I will go in the strength of the Lord," end quote. It helped me maintain my poise while spending an afternoon with a person that I had found very intimidating and expressed a strong will. She has in the past been known to do things that usually did not end well for the other person. it was pointed out to me by my practitioner that I needed to stop defining people by human standards, such as education, background, personality, etc. This was building up in my thinking just opposite direction of what Jesus taught us and what we learned from Mary Baker Eddy's writings. Instead, I must hold in my thought the man of God's creating. I also realized that I needed to lean on God rather than my personal will or human planning. As soon as any fearful thought came up, I stopped it and chose to dwell on the 91st Psalm. Each moment I worked on listening for angel thoughts to direct my words and actions, and it was a very harmonious interaction for the few hours that I had to spend. Each time I have been in this situation this year with this person, there has been progress, such as calmer environment, orderly activity, and more respectful interactions. Step by step, facing fear and learning to, quote, go in the strength of the Lord. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Chardell from Pennsylvania, go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for this service and for the meaningful and powerful readings. Tonight, I would like to say thank you to God, Christ Jesus, Mary Baker Eddy, and our Plainfield Christian Science Church Independent for helping us to learn correct Christian Science and how it operates. Learning to listen to God as taught by my practitioner, waiting on Him to see how His universal laws operate with a, quote, clear sense and calm trust as stated in Science and Health on page 495. What may seem trivial to some was important to me when our yard badly needed attention. In the past, I would have been resentful and grouchy because I need help with some of the big equipment. I did have a few touchy moments and then turned to prayer, remembering several things. It is God who perfecteth everything that concerneth me, and since there is only one mind, something would unfold harmoniously, because my intent was to be a good steward with the gifts that God had already provided. The yard is beautiful now, and I was amazed how much was accomplished and continues to unfold. Thank you, Plainfield Church, for teaching us about God's irrevocable laws. Good evening.
Thank you. Lil.
I am so grateful I followed God's directions recently. I needed to return license plates as well as renew my driver's license. Not knowing where to go, I went to the local city hall for directions. The receptionist was the perfect person as he used to live near the DMV. He gave me the directions, but also mentioned he wasn't sure if it had closed yet. It felt right to go, and I found it still open. Upon arriving, somebody leaving said he had been in line for an hour and not moving. I went in and got online. The receptionist was able to help me with my license plates, done in 10 minutes. She sent me to the license renewal line, and I had a new license in less than half an hour. It was there I heard that they were closing the next day. I just kept thanking God for this blessing. His plans are perfect and always complete. And thank you for those beautiful readings.
Thank you. Karen from Kansas, go ahead.
On Monday this week, I was feeling lonely, and I was so glad to receive the forum highlights. They told me that we can never feel alone, and that God is always with us. and that Jesus is our way shower, and that churches have it all wrong if they make him equal to God. If he is equal to God, he cannot be our way shower. This forum highlight included so many beautiful quotations like the one from Mrs. Eddy. If the disciple is advancing spiritually, he is striving to enter in. He constantly turns away from material sense and looks around and looks toward the imperishable things of spirit. If honest, he will be in earnest from the start and gain a little each day in the right direction, till at last he finishes his course with joy. Thank you for the beautiful readings today and for the testimonies given so far. And thank you for all the wonderful literature that you sent us, like the forum highlights. And good evening to everybody.
Thank you. Jeremy.
I'm grateful tonight for how Christian Science is giving me the practical tools to live this life rightly. For years, I felt I didn't ever know the right decision to make or the best way to move forward. I read constantly, trying to get a sense of what to do and how to live. All that research did was give me more to fear and more to convince me to stay away from people. The news always left me fearful about the present and without any tools to handle that fear. Religion always made me feel fearful about the future, guilty about the past, but still unsure about what to do right now. New Age philosophies tried to provide this cheery, wishful thinking, suggesting we just smile and dream of a better life. Christian Science, however, really blindsided me, because at that point I had given up on finding anything worthwhile and practical. And yet here was this church showing me how to handle the news, how to make decisions based on spiritual sense, how to understand the Bible so that I could understand Christ's Christianity, and all of it without an ounce of wishful thinking or guilt piled on. I'm so grateful for all I am learning here, because I am being given everything I need to live this life as it was intended, to serve God and mankind. Thank you.
Thank you. Day from Georgia, go ahead.
Thank you. Growing up, I learned to work with Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me, which I've learned to repeat when faced with any great challenge to give me the encouragement to meet it. During last Sunday's roundtable meeting, I heard for the first time the same passage from the Amplified Bible, which reads, I can do all things which he has called me to do, through him who strengthens and empowers me to fulfill his purpose. I am self-sufficient in Christ's sufficiency. I am ready for anything and equal to anything through him who infuses me with inner strength and confident peace. I took this straight to heart, and since hearing it, I've been repeating it mentally over and over each day. As a result, I've been able to thoroughly complete several major tasks in a calm, orderly, and timely manner. I'm so grateful for my new understanding of this promising passage, which to me means that I cannot be dominated or overwhelmed by anything that God has for me to do, no matter how great, for it is he that works through me to meet and complete it. I thank God for the teachings in the Plainfield Christian Science Church Independent, which are helping me to see things as I never saw them before, with a deeper meaning from a spiritual basis. Thank you so much for tonight's reading, for each and every testimony, for the music, and for all. I'm so grateful to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Fairly.
I'm so grateful to be at my church here in Plainfield tonight. I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to enter the church. And when I walked in, I was overwhelmed with tears of joy and gratitude for all that this church has meant to me in my life. I think of, when I'm in this church, always comes to me the line from the hymn, "An atmosphere of love divine, we live and move and breathe." I was healed of deep depression 5 years ago when I came here, thanks to the help my practitioner gave me. And it's just been an upward journey of learning and understanding what I had so wanted to understand when I first found Christian Science many years ago, and finally found here. And thank you for those wonderful readings tonight that are so encouraging, as all the words of God are.
Thank you. Craig.
Thank you for those wonderful readings. 91st Psalm, we've been told it is something that we can use to find our refuge in God. And I thank God for the beautiful truths and the instruction that we've been given here in this church. Included in that always helps me at night, Mrs. Eddie's hymn, Mother's Evening Prayer. When I can't, so when I see something that is a shock, and if I work to handle, to know that the goodness of God and the unreality of the wrong. But if by evening I still feel I have to get my rest, I can turn to Mother's Evening Prayer. As Mary Baker Eddy I was told, would pray for the whole world. And could feel love coming, people could feel a great love coming from her for the whole world. That only of her eyes could she see the snare, the pit, the fall. And going on with that, the good was what was real, and that's she'd rest in God, and so would all else really in God. And I found that that's really given me such a peace when I'm anxious and a state of prayerfulness. And I thank God for providing all these tools to help us be effective and useful. Because I used to be just tied up in an issue and not be able to be very effective in many areas. Thank God for this church and instructions.
Thank you. Dale from Virginia, go ahead.
Thank you so much for those readings of protection and comfort, and leaving us with the tools to know how to stay in the presence of love. I'm grateful for all the opportunities we have here to grow in our understanding and progress on our journey to our Father. One thing that impressed me this morning was that in the daily email from the church was a testimony from one of the practitioners here. These are always extremely helpful and teach an important lesson. And there's not only one, but if you wish, you can listen to many. I've certainly benefited from them myself. Everything in this church expresses love and giving. I am very grateful for the very effective healing work of the practitioners here and for their dedication to God and to mankind. And thank you for all the testimonies tonight.
Thank you. Carol.
I'm very grateful for these readings tonight, too.
I got a headache this afternoon, and it was pretty strong, and I realized, though, that it was just an attack on the service tonight to get my attention off praying for the service with what I should be doing. So, of course, I just kept praying and working, and the headache did lessen, but I still had it when I came in tonight. And in the readings, one of my favorite statements by Mrs. Eddy was there, "No evidence before the material senses can close my eyes to the scientific proof that God good is supreme." And when I heard that, I just smiled within and I said, yeah, that's the truth. And the headache disappeared. It was gone. I am just so grateful to God for his healing power, and just so grateful to have learned not to get distracted and not to get taken off the track. Work hard to stay on the track. And I'm very grateful for tonight's service, and also grateful for practitioner help. It opens us up and keeps us going the right way. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary.
Every once in a while, I like to listen to uplifting music and sing a few hymns. And one of the songs that I love to listen to, a well-known song, is Amazing Grace. We sing it occasionally in the church. The reason, I guess it's one of my favorites, is that it always brings me to tears when I listen to it. And it brings me to tears because it reminds me of how grateful I am to have found this church and the Christian Science that is lived and taught and practiced in this church. It has shown me the tremendous love that God has, that God is and has for us, and the power of that love. It has healed me of so many things, health problems, character problems, business problems. And with each healing, I have felt the grace of God, and I have felt closer to this wonderful God that makes us and cares for us. It has certainly helped keep me from at least some of the foolishness of the world. It has made it clear that without God, I am a wretch, drifting in a world of materialism. You know, what else could you be? But it has shown me the way of life. It has given me a purpose to life. It has healed me, as I mentioned, of many, many things. And I am so grateful for this science. So grateful for Mary Baker Eddy for giving it to the world, showing us what it really is, and leaving her textbook for all of us, to find the science for ourselves. So grateful to be here tonight.
Thank you. Wendy from Georgia, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to express my gratitude for the readings tonight, and also for the practitioner support that I received this week from my practitioner. I had a very challenging situation at work, and talked to my practitioner, and she recommended that I read the 91st Psalm, which I did, and I read it over and over yesterday, and it really helped get me through the situation. That the passage, "He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler," that really resonated with me, and it was very, very helpful to get through the day, and I just wanted to say thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Florence from Georgia, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the beautifully read citations of assurance and God's protection. I am so grateful tonight to be here and want to share with you my gratitude for owning a Bible and Science and Help, and also for the opportunity to freely use them, and for the access to all the things we have here in this church on our website to help us on. It is very clear that there is nowhere to turn for real peace. It all comes from God and God only. When we look at world events right now, one can easily be led into wrong thinking and fearful thoughts. But the instruction here to have God in all we do helps us to really keep some of these citations from the Bible and Science and Health in our hearts, and to surely turn to them throughout the day. It brings such calm, such strength from God, and helps us keep our peace. And regardless of what's going on, you can feel a sense of that there is a protection somewhere, right here with us all. And we can know the same for the whole world. I love how Isaiah 26:3 sums it up so beautifully. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Thank you for the service and for all the testimonies tonight.
Thank you. Mary.
Hey, tonight I have several things to read. The first from our church website bulletin board, Pennsylvania. Thank you to Mr. Singletary for the Wednesday evening readings for May 17th on taking offense. Hearing the words read added depth and understanding for me, and I am very grateful. And then Georgia, the article Belief of Invasion by Mildred LeBlond in the May 2014 issue of Love is the Liberator. Quote, being cannot be invaded now or at any time because all being is God. God cannot and does not invade himself. Nothing can come to any nation but God, and God constitutes all being. End quote. Thank you, Plainfield, for providing this website. It is meeting every need with the love and power of God. And this is an email with a title, Hi, my great-grandmother was a member of the Plainfield Christian Science Church. Hattie Swackhammer. I think that's wonderful. It says, Dear folks at the Plainfield Christian Science Church Independent, my great-grandmother, Hattie Swackhammer, lived from 1866 to 1963, and she died at the age of 97. She loved the Christian Science Church and attended faithfully, and I would love to know more about the church and its history if possible. She lived on Front Street in Plainfield all her life, and I would visit her there. Wasn't that sweet? That's from Maryland. And then this, I'm not sure where it's from. Benjamin will probably know when I read it. Dear wonderful Plainfielders, thank you for already sending me the March Liberator and the Great Daily Calendar. The articles are fantastic in the Liberator, and I am enjoying so much the daily inspirational quotes on the calendar. I have ordered 2 more for a couple of friends. And thank you every day for the YouTube items, the roundtable discussions, Bible study, and the absolutely wonderful website design and articles. Lots of love.
California.
Florida?
California.
Oh, California. Thank you, Benjamin. Okay, and then another, and this is from New Mexico. Hello and good morning. I am a lifelong Christian Scientist and live in a remote area in northern New Mexico. I have found your glorious website and have been so blessed by the YouTube channel and all its generous postings. I would love to participate in the roundtable discussions and offer testimonies at the Wednesday testimony meetings. Are they open to the public? And yes, they are. I am a member of the Santa Fe Church. However, I feel that I would like to be a member of Plainfield as I attend these services regularly, and the spirit demonstrated by this congregation is so palpable. I look forward to hearing from you with deepest gratitude. And I'm sure Benjamin sent a loving response, as he always does. I'm grateful tonight, too, for those wonderful readings on not being dismayed about, I would say, current events. I've given many testimonies of all the healings I've had coming to this church, and one of them is certainly a healing of being dismayed at current events, what I would see and hear and read in the newspapers and television. I would go from two extremes. One extreme would just be to be very fearful and upset over it, and then the other extreme would be that I would just kind of bury my head in the sand and try to ignore it and tell myself, thinking I was being Christianly scientific, that it didn't really exist. Now, both extremes were very wrong. They certainly had nothing to do with Christian Science. And so it was no wonder that I was such an anxious mess when I came here. And I am, and always will be, so grateful for the practitioner here who taught me how to handle any type of error, whether it's in the news or in our home life, body. And one, it's certainly not to fear it, and the other is certainly not to ignore it. Any error needs to be confronted, faced, because Mrs. Eddy says in Science and Health on page 368, the greatest wrong is but a supposititious opposite of the highest right. The confidence inspired by science lies in the fact that truth is real and error is unreal. Error is a coward before truth. Divine science insists that time will prove all this. So this is where our confidence comes, not within our own selves, but with the truth. And when you confront error with the truth, it is a coward. It will back away and dissipate, but it must be done. You can't run from it, hide from it, or just be afraid of it. So this was such a wonderful teaching and learning experience in my life, and one that I use to this day. It leads to great growth and great peace when you confront error and know that it is a coward. There's nothing to fear when we're knowing God's omnipotence. Mrs. Eddy has said about error that I acknowledge your claims, but I denounce your power. And we too have that ability because God is the only power. So I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for those very comforting, strong readings we heard tonight. It's always a great privilege to be in this church.
Thank you.